Few people fall from grace as hard as Alex Murdaugh. The ultra-wealthy scion of an old money family in South Carolina had cash and connections to burn. His father and his grandpappy, they were top prosecutors in that state for almost a century. And that's why Murdaugh became a lawyer and joined the family law practice. But it is awfully ironic that a family dynasty that locked up so many felons ended up with one of their own locked up for life. When Murdaugh's 52-year-old wife, Maggie, and their younger son, Paul, were found shot to death at their home in June of 2021, cops were baffled, and high society was rocked. Murdaugh denied any involvement, but a series of bizarre events soon showed that Alex Murdaugh had secrets and secret crimes going back more than a decade. Soon he was charged with dozens of counts of financial fraud. Prosecutors said he stole about $8.5 million from clients and associates and businesses, and he was promptly disbarred. And just days later, on July 14th, 2022, after a year-long investigation, he put on a yellow jumpsuit. He was indicted in the grisly deaths of his wife and his second-born son. The trial was dubbed South Carolina's trial of the century, and the media attention was epic. Prosecutors hammered his ever-changing testimony, but Murdaugh blamed it on paranoia and pain pills. And when asked to describe the crime scene, he broke down on the stand. Prosecutors were not moved by that because they had a smoking gun, a video from his dead son's phone showing him casually strolling with his family down by the dog kennels where they would be dead within minutes. And metadata from his wife's cell phone showed Maggie's phone was moving even after she died. I spoke to a digital forensics expert about just how damning that evidence was. His name is Jake Green, and he's the technical lead in forensics at Invista. Here's our conversation. Okay, Jake, so I want to think of all the different reasons that could be innocuous and innocent as to why Maggie is likely dead and her phone has a life of its own. Tell me.
There's not really any. That phone is moving because somebody is physically moving it around. All the gyroscopes and pieces within this device that record it, those are moving because someone's actually holding that phone and moving around with it. So there's not really anything innocuous that we could say, oh, well, it might have just mistakenly recorded it. No, this is something that was actually recording at the time somebody was moving.
So the one thing, I mean, everybody wants to say, aha, this is a Perry Mason moment. It's impossible to tell whose hand it is in. It's impossible to tell who's flipping it around, wondering whether, you know, it'll show something in portrait or in landscape. What's the next best thing to try to figure that out?
Really the activity in and around. So looking at the databases, and I saw a copy of a report that you guys used as an infographic. They used a piece of software that automates the review of the database that all this is coming from. That piece of software does an excellent job, but at the same time, a manual review of the actual data itself of that database is going to give us much more than what that piece of software can give us. So there can be other things that can show us not only was the phone in portrait versus landscape, and you showed off your kids, I'll show off my awesome wife. It'll show us when was the last time this phone was unlocked. Was it unlocked with a pin? Did somebody unlock it with their face? What was the brightness? What was the backlight? So even if, my phone right now is off and it's on a black screen, if I pick it up and it's called raise to awake. So if you black screen, raise it, your screen comes back on, that setting is going to be within that database as well. So it may not be something that was pulled out by the automated software, but that database can definitely hold that piece of evidence. So in and around and what happened and estimating steps, could this person have taken that same number of steps to make it back to the house? That movement had to have occurred somewhere. So trying to place other pieces of evidence as well as the physical evidence of DNA and fingerprints on the device as well. I mean, that's how you would put that phone in somebody's hand.
So the 59 steps, like Maggie's phone walked 59 steps after she's dead at 8:53, just minutes after she's dead. And I decided, okay, is 59 steps back to the house, or, it's not. The kennel is a long way away from the house. And I did 59 steps today just to see, how far I get. I got around my house once. It's not very far. Is there anything that could, be wrong? I always wonder if my step count is right. Is the iPhone really picking up every step, or could it be in a truck? Or, could there be errors? How accurate is this? I'm trying to think of what would someone be doing around a dead body for 59 steps. It's not very far.
Yeah, so the things that we've seen in testing and research that other folks have done is there can absolutely be flaws. There's no known accuracy for, are those steps accurate within 5-10 steps? I would be more concerned with the estimated distance, as that is something that is measured with GPS within the location data within that device. So I would trust the distance more than I would trust the actual the step counts.
Okay, well, that's interesting, but I do have this list I want to show you. I thought this was pretty damning, actually. It's Alex Murdaugh's steps, and there are so many of them, and it seems really frantic. It starts at 6:42, and it goes right through almost every 10 minutes or so. 6:42, 6:52, 7:03, 7:15, 7:28, 7:55. 8:05, 9:02, and they're like giant steps at times, like 283 steps, 270 steps, again 283 steps, 167 steps. They're all over the map from 6:42 to 8:05. But he also says he took a nap, and I don't know. That's kind of impossible, isn't it? That's not the kind of mistake where you could say, well, the iPhone's not always accurate. That doesn't show that he's napping.
Right. So keep in mind that the windows that we see within movements, those are typically the first indication of movement and the last indication of movement. So it's not saying that you took 183 steps within that 10 minutes. It's just that within that 10 minutes, it detected movement and it estimates it. So you could have taken those steps in the first 5 minutes, the first 4 minutes. You could have run for the first minute. So that's just the way the phone records these items. So I think the other important thing to keep in mind is that investigators properly preserve this phone and were able to pull out these databases because they were able to get them within 30 days. So this database rolls over, it's constantly. So the reason we ask about, well, what about Mr. Murdaugh's phone? What was his screen doing at the time? They may not have arrested him for 30 days or may not have seized his phone within 30 days. So that's why his data is different from what was found on the wife's phone.
Alex Murdaugh was found guilty after just 3 hours of deliberations, and the very next day was hit with 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.